Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Barbados' Prime Minister Mottley represented the region well on a BBC exclusive which was recently filmed in Barbados. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Monday 23rd August 2021. Details when we return.
Hubbard's big promotion is back. Live free for 1 year. Spend $50 or more in any Hubbard's department and receive a chance to win big prizes every month. Property or vehicle insurance for 1 year. Free internet, cable and data for 1 year. Free fuel for 1 year. Free cooking gas for 1 year. Free electricity for 1 year. Free drinks for 1 year. Extra cash account and the big free groceries for 1 year. Promotion runs from April 1st to September 30th, 2021. Live free for 1 year with Hubbard's in association with Solgas, Flow, Grenadian General Insurance, Carib Brewery, Coca-Cola, Grenada Bottling Company, Grenlec, Communal Cooperative Credit Union, Dutch Lady Milk, Promo, Danny and Supreme. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Barbados P.M. Mottley is regarded by BBC reporter Zaina Bidawi as having put her in a place over a question of China's influence in the Caribbean and Africa.
Because we are capable of being, as our first Prime Minister said, friends of all and satellites of none.
But it's not just Barbados that's moving closer to China, it's the whole of the Caribbean. I mean,
it's the whole
investment
world.
From China has gone up many folds.
But so is the whole world.
Years.
If I look correctly, I think the Chinese hold a large percentage of assets within the United States of America and a large amount of their treasuries as well. So for you to focus on the Caribbean or Africa with China without recognizing the role that China is playing in Europe or in the North Atlantic countries is a bit disingenuous and really reflects more that we are seen as pawns, regrettably, rather than countries with equal capacity to determine our destiny and to be part and parcel of that global conversation to fight the global issues of the day like climate and the pandemic.
All right, well, that's put me in my place, hasn't it?
No, not at
Prime
all,
Minister
Zara.
Mia Mottley. Thank you.
Not at all, my dear.
That's all right, thank you. We'll go to our next question. Provide me with a bit of relief. Thank you. Kevon Henry, your question.
Over in Antigua, the government there has reduced social gatherings to 10 as part of the new restrictions to curb a rise in coronavirus cases. ABS's Jamie J. Roger reports.
No more than 10 people can gather for private parties, street-side limes, and other spontaneous meetings as the government tightens coronavirus safety restrictions. This comes as active COVID-19 cases in this country are now at 119. Information Minister, the Honourable Melford Nicholas, says the new protocols will initially last for 2 weeks and will not apply to regular church services.
The seating arrangements that have previously been allocated based on their size and the social distancing requirements, we will continue to observe those.
But weddings are restricted to 25 people and only 10 can attend the reception. Funeral services are also limited to 25 mourners at both the church and burying site. Mr. Nicholas says these restrictions will not apply at Celeste Bird's state funeral next Thursday.
Only vaccinated persons will be allowed to attend the funeral services, the funeral arrangements at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. And certainly at the burial, only family and the official persons who are part of the official party will be allowed to participate.
Meanwhile, beaches will remain closed on that day, which the government has declared a public holiday.
The seating arrangements that have previously been allocated based on their size and the social distancing requirements, we will continue to observe those.
Both vaccinated and unvaccinated diners can still eat at restaurants with seated dining based on numbers previously set by health officials. While not a mandate, the government is also encouraging residents to remain at home if they do not need to go out. Jimmy J. Roche, ABS News.
Trinidad and Tobago's Education Minister is confirming that preparations are well underway for the reopening of schools in September. TV6's Marlon Hopkinson has this report.
For months now, stakeholders in education have been discussing how to safely reopen some schools in September amid rising COVID-19 cases in Trinidad and Tobago. But today, Education Minister Dr. Nian Gatsby-Dolly confirmed that a lot of planning has been put into the reopening of some schools next month. She was speaking with reporters at the launch of the Huawei Idea Hub boards for schools at the San Juan North Secondary School earlier today.
And our planning has been focusing on what would happen once we are able to reopen physically in some way. You would have heard the Prime Minister speak to that being our goal. You would see the vaccination of students taking place now. But school will reopen, whether it is virtually, and hopefully we'll have some students coming out physically. So school is started to reopen. The question is, and of course we are looking at the vaccination, we are looking at our numbers and so on, to see who can come out physically first. And that vaccination, those numbers will be very important to determine that.
Mrs. Gatsby-Dolly said a number of students have already received the Pfizer vaccine, which the Ministry of Health began administering to the youth population on Wednesday of this week.
The Ministry of Health has brought on more sites to allow more capacity. So I'm asking parents, on the first day there was a large turnout, there was a little bit of a wait for some parents, but they endured and the weather was also inclement. More sites are out now, many in the south, the paddock has been brought on in the north and so on. And so it's easier now to get your children vaccinated. There is no appointment. You simply walk in.
She said she understands that parents may be apprehensive about taking their children to get vaccinated. But she reminded parents that she and Minister in the Ministry of Education, Lisa Morris-Julian, have both taken their children to be vaccinated.
And we are appealing to all parents. Take the step to protect our children, get them vaccinated so that we can start school with that level of safety and security. And as parents, we want that security. We understand what it is for parents to feel afraid for their children. And that's why we led by example, vaccinated our children, and we're asking everyone else to do the same.
Marlon Hopkinson, TV6 News.
The race for a new council as well as the Democratic Labour Party's presidential seat is on, with both candidates going into the election with confidence.
It's a straight fight between incumbent President Frederick and her challenger Reverend Guy Hewitt. Voting started around 10 a.m. today and closed off at 6 p.m. and will continue again on Saturday. Pisa is confident of retaining the presidency.
I'm very confident. The party has been through this exercise before. We know how it is done, and we haven't had any issues up until this point with our process. So I'm confident that the membership will do what is right and necessary, not only for the party but for the country at this time. I am confident enough that we already started our planning for the year to come. Yes, very confident.
Equally confident is a challenger, Reverend Guy Hewitt.
I'm more confident than I was a few weeks ago in terms of the transparency process. It's been an exciting campaign, and I think that the Democratic Labour Party, regardless of outcome, although I'm feeling confident, will be the winner because everyone is focused on us. The nation is seeing the Democratic Labour Party as alive and kicking again, and that is good for democracy.
Is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
The Bahamas Opposition Progressive Liberal Party says it is ready for the September 16th general election.
Its leader, Philip Davis, believes Prime Minister Hubert Minnis' announcement of the election date during a national address on Thursday was nothing more than a political statement. More from Our News, Bahamas.
That has been wrong. And that is the first step towards a better day.
A candid response from Progressive Liberal Party leader Philip Davis to the news that the general election will be held in just a few weeks. He slammed the announcement, which came by way of a national address from the Prime Minister, as nothing more than a political statement.
It was not a national address. It was a political address where he's asking the Bahamian people to look at him and believe that he would be a better person to manage the post-pandemic era. I say no. He's demonstrated that he could not manage the pandemic properly, and you're going to trust him to manage it during and after.
The bell was rung during an alarming surge in COVID-19 cases and deaths. So far in August alone, the country recorded more than 1,700 cases. Additionally, hospitals are bursting at the seams, and public healthcare facilities on New Providence and Grand Bahama are experiencing day 8 of a sick-out. Davis says this leaves one question for the general public heading to the polls.
This call at a time when no doubt the electorate will be asking themselves whether we are more concerned about politics than lives.
Davis, who is also the MP for Cat Island, Rumkey, San Salvador, said the pandemic will no doubt affect the way political parties campaign. While he admitted it is a concern, he said the party has protocols in place.
Public health officials in St. Lucia dialogue with stakeholders on refining the national COVID-19 vaccination policy. Gina Felipe of HTS News Force reports.
The health ministry and government officials are exploring solutions to encourage more of the populace to get vaccinated against COVID-19. While the SLP administration says it will not mandate vaccines, the government intends to embark on a comprehensive education drive in the hopes of getting more people to take the jab. The health ministry met with officials from various sectors to discuss ways to resume services now that vaccines are available.
One of the things that we've agreed to do is to ensure that there's consultation and discussion so that we can hear the views of all of the various stakeholders of our present situation. The fact that we have vaccines, we wanted to get a feel of what's the position and to open up the discussion to various sectors of the society in how we manage, because the debate continues. There are some business places who want to ensure that there is a safe environment for employees, and we want to be very careful that we don't negatively influence anybody.
Pathologist Dr. Stephen King expressed the need to have more dialogue on the ongoing health threat.
The more we educate, the more we engage, in fact, the more we become educated, because I don't have all the information and knowledge. I learned in that consultation, speaking to people, right? For instance, I'll give you a classic example. We talk about people being anti-vaxxers, but if you look at all the, as somebody made the point, if you look at all the unvaccinated people, they're not all anti-vaxxers. Many of the unvaccinated are people that just have concerns, and all they need is some information, somebody to take the time to listen to their concerns and assure them or give them the evidence that they can be so assured that the vaccine is safer than COVID.
Members of the legal fraternity were present at the national consultation, including officials from the Caribbean Court of Justice.
We also took in mind that the legal considerations also had to be looked at as well. So we, apart from the medical personnel who were there, I presented, as well as Dr. Stephen King and our immunization manager, Nurse Tekla Jabatis. We also had the legal minds, Professor Rosemary Bell-Antoine, who's the Dean of the University of the West Indies, and also Sir Charles Michael Dennis Barron, the former president of the Caribbean Court of Justice, to give the legal aspects of the legal considerations in relation to the consultation.
Gina Filippi, HTS News Force.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.